Please subscribe to our channel, and for latest update, click on the bell icon.
Hi children, in this class of conversation, we're going to talk about sightseeing. You go to places to see lovely places, you visit places of interest, for relaxation, and of course to see and enjoy and relax, to refresh ourselves. So sightseeing. Here, Tom and his friend, they are all going to Singapore. Singapore is supposed to be a very nice place, and here they go on a trip to look at lovely places. So sightseeing is what we are talking about today. Tom, I'm so glad that you are with me on this trip. Or she can also say, oh, I'm so happy you're accompanying me. I'm new to this. So the person is thanking Tom for taking him or her along to see the new place, South. Tom, I am so glad. I am so glad. I'm so glad that you are with me on this trip. That you are with me. That you are with me on this trip. On this trip. Or you can also say, Tom, so thank you so much for accompanying me. Or thank you so much for going with me, coming with me on this trip. So what are the other person, the Julie said, Julie, is this your first trip to Singapore? So Tom is asking Julie, Julie, is this your first trip? First trip to Singapore? Or Tom could have asked, Julie, are you going for the first time to Singapore? Or you have never been here before? You're coming for the first time? There are different ways of putting it. So Julie is going for the first time, and she says, I'm so glad that you are with me on this trip. So Tom is asking, Julie, what? Is this your first trip to Singapore? And she says, yes, Tom, it's my very first trip to Singapore. Yes, she says, yes, Tom, it is. Yes, Tom, it is my very first trip to Singapore. Very first trip. Very first trip to Singapore. So Tom says, Singapore is one of the most charming cities in the world. So Tom says, you know, Singapore is one of the charming. Singapore is one of the charming cities in the world. Cities in the world. Or Tom could have said, Singapore, the most beautiful city, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I'm glad you come to look at it. So you can put it differently, you can speak differently. I would love to see some beautiful sights, Tom. I would love, I would love to see, I would love to see some really beautiful sights. Really, some really beautiful sights. So Julie says, I would love to see some really beautiful sights, Tom. Or she can say, Tom, you should take me. Or you should take me, guide me to some lovely, really beautiful sight that I can look at. What famous and interesting places are there in Singapore? What famous and interesting, what famous and interesting places are there? Places are there? What famous and interesting places are there here? Or, Tom, could you tell me some of the interesting and famous places in Singapore? Julie, to start with. Julie, to start with. To start with. Let's go to the Central Park. Let's go to the Central Park. Central Park. Or Tom could have said, come on, let's begin with Central Park. Come, here's the Central Park. We'll begin with this. How beautiful. What colors of flowers. How beautiful. How beautiful. What colors of flowers. What colors of flowers. Or Julie could have said, wow, what lovely various colors of flowers. I've never seen this before. You can express it anyhow. Where are we going next? Where are we going next? Where are we going next? Oh, from Central Park, where do we go? I would love you. I would like you to see some beautiful, I would like you to see some wonderful. I would like you to see some wonderful, famous sculptures. I would like you to see some wonderful, famous sculptures and some real nice sceneries. All right. So it says, Tom says, Julie, I would like you to look at some wonderful, famous sculptures and then some lovely sceneries for your eyes. Okay? So here, what we are doing is sightseeing, going to Singapore, looking at few good, famous places. Julie and Tom are on their visit, and of course, Julie is going for the first time. And here are some of the questions that she keeps asking Tom, and she's so happy that Tom is accompanying her. Let's read what I have here. Tom, I am so glad that you are with me on this trip. Julie, is this your first trip to Singapore? Yes, Tom, it is my very first trip to Singapore. You know, Singapore is one of the charming cities in the world. I would love to see some really beautiful sights here, Tom. What famous and interesting places are there here? Julie, to start with, let's go to the Central Park. How beautiful! What colors of flowers! Where are we going next? I would like you to see some wonderful, famous sculptures and some real nice sceneries.